Hi there. If you clicked on this video, then you probably have an aging parent who needs more care or they're going to need it soon. And you're wondering when and how do you get them involved in the process of planning for their own future and the decision making? Well, first off, let me say good for you because you are showing that you care about what your parent wants and you don't want to just make all the decisions for them. You know that that is going to be difficult. Today, I'm going to talk about how to involve your aging parent in their own care planning process and why it is so important and how to do it in a way that feels good for both of you. Hi there, I'm Sofia. I make weekly videos to help you support your aging parents with the best information, resources, and mindset strategies so you can have a peaceful, purposeful parent care experience and not have any regrets. So imagine for just a second that somebody was deciding every part of your day without your input. What to eat, what to wear, when to shower, even where to live. It doesn't sound very pleasant, does it? And that is why involving your parent in their own plan of care is so important. It is about respecting their autonomy and preserving their dignity and giving them a sense of control over their life because, after all, it is their life. Imagine for a minute back when you were 18 years old and it was high school graduation day. And on graduation day, your parents said, "Surprise, tomorrow you start college and you're going to go to some college that you've never heard the name of, 6 states away, and you are moving into the dorm tomorrow. And you're going to study electromagnetic physics. Now go get packed." You would be like, whoa, wait a minute. There is no way. You would dig your feet in and you would fight it the whole way. Why? Because you were blindsided and it was not your decision. You would dig your heels in so deep, even if it was really the best thing for you. Even if you would have eventually come up with the same decision yourself. But no, when you're thrown for a loop, it is natural to resist. So what are parents of the younger kids told to do? We talk to our kids early about college. When they're in elementary school, we let them mull over the idea of options of how they want their future to be and give them time to see what fits their personality and their interests. And as a family, we discussed the location and the cost so that when the time came in the future, our kids felt more comfortable in participating in decision-making for their own future. And when our aging parents are involved, they are also more likely to go along with the plan, whether it's about hiring a new caregiver into their home or making medical decisions. It makes them feel respected, and that often translates into smoother care and better outcomes. But on the flip side, if they are left out of these decisions, it can lead to resistance and them digging their heels in. Because you know what? You would do the same thing if someone were making all your decisions for you. And you know you would. Now, before diving in and planning together, it's really important to assess how ready is your parent to have these conversations. Some parents are easy and they're willing and they're open, but many others feel overwhelmed or even maybe in denial and they're going to shut you out. 2 things that I found really helpful are starting early before they ever need to make decisions urgently, and starting small, baby steps. And by starting early, I do not mean starting on Tuesday for a decision that needs to be made on Friday. And I'm not even talking about starting discussions in March for decisions that need to be made in July. I'm talking about starting these conversations when your parent is in their 50s or 60s or 70s for decisions that need to be made when they are in their 70s and 80s and 90s. Start when your parent still has their full mental faculties, when they still have the ability to problem solve and reason. Often, I see adult children who are reluctant to have these important conversations for years, and then later, when their parent is old and frail and in a crisis, then they try to have that conversation out of necessity. But guess what? By then, that parent, they're old, they're frail, and they have lost or is quickly losing their cognitive abilities, their mental faculties, their ability to problem solve and reason. And the poor adult child who is just trying to help is left with a parent who is unreasonable, who might be resistant, and who is telling their child to just leave them alone because they're gonna be all right. And here's the rub. If you are in your 50s or 60s, you should be having these conversations with your family, your children, about your own plan of care for your future. So the optimal time is early, decades early. And the next best time, well, you know what I'm going to say, is right now. Try bringing up topics in a casual, low-pressure moment. For example, if your parent mentions that they're tired from doing the housework, you could say something like, well, maybe in the future you could get someone to help you out in the home once in a while. This way, you're just testing the waters, you're not pushing them. If they are resistant, that's okay. It might mean that they need more time, or that this is a topic that they're not ready to face yet. But the more time you give yourself, the easier it will be. But if it is the case that they don't want to talk, consider involving another party like another family member or their friend or their own sibling who could help kind of guide the discussion in a neutral way. Talking about care planning can kind of feel a little bit like a minefield, so having a few communication strategies up your sleeve can make a big difference. So first, pick the right time and place. Choose a moment when you're both relaxed, maybe over a cup of tea in the afternoon. Avoid times when it's stressful, like after a difficult doctor's appointment or after they just took a fall. Second, lead with empathy. Acknowledge their feelings. Say something like, I know it must be really hard to think about needing help in the future, but I worry and I want us to plan things together so that you'll be comfortable and know that I support you. And third, ask open-ended questions. Instead of asking, do you want me to get you a caregiver? Try saying, how do you feel about someone coming in to help you with things around the house? Oh, you don't like that idea? What is it about that idea that is the worst part for you? This opens the door for them to share their true thoughts and concerns so that you can have a productive conversation. If they resist or they get defensive, don't be discouraged because hopefully you have time. This is a big topic and it could take several conversations for them to open up and really want to plan. The key here is to keep communication open. I promise the earlier you start these conversations, the longer your parent is going to have to mull over the options in their mind and to problem solve in a way that they're comfortable with. When it comes to the actual decisions, try to involve them as much as possible. This could be as simple as what days do they prefer a caregiver coming into the home, or what meals they want to eat. Or it could be more complex issues like end-of-life wishes or how they're going to pay for care in the future. These take more time. Every single choice that your parent can make on their own will make a huge difference. When your parent feels like their voice matters and their opinion matters, it's very empowering for them, just as it would be for you. It's also really practical because guess what? They are the expert on what they like and need. I remember once working with a family whose mom was very resistant to getting a caregiver in the home. But when she got to choose the activities that she wanted to do with her new caregiver, like gardening and baking, it completely changed her outlook. Suddenly, it wasn't about getting a caregiver. It was about how to problem solve her ability to do the activity she wanted to do, which just happened to require a caregiver. So if your parent is able to make some decisions about their future care needs, try to get them to write it down. Help them to solidify it in their minds, and maybe even start to take steps towards that plan now while there is no stress. And don't be afraid to reach out to a professional like a social worker or a care manager. They can help you navigate this process, especially if there are some tough decisions or family dynamics that could be tricky. Now, this part can be a little hard, and that is balancing what your parent wants with what is safe. Sometimes your parent might choose something that isn't necessarily best for their health and safety, like refusing extra help even when they really need it. When this happens, it is crucial to approach this conversation with compassion by saying something like, I know you want to keep doing everything on your own, and I want that for you too, but I'm worried for your safety, and I'd love to try to get a plan so that you can continue to be safe and independent. Let's come up with a solution together. If safety becomes a major concern, do not shy away from these important conversations, and think you could call their doctor and ask for their involvement in the conversation, or another family member or a professional if needed. It's all about balancing their independence with their well-being. And this is a tough one. Don't forget that if your parent is still competent to make their own decisions, even if you hate their decisions, it is their right. All you can do is love them and be there for them if and when things don't work out well, just as you would for that 18-year-old kid who refuses to go to college. You love them anyway, and you be there for them if and when things don't work out well, because that's what family does. So involving your parent in care planning, it's about respect, communication, and shared decision making. It's not always easy, but it is worth it for both of you, for you and them. The more you can include your parent in their own decisions, the more empowered they're going to feel and the better the care will be. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried to have these conversations with your parent? What worked and what didn't work? Let's share some tips in the comments so we can all learn from each other. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and please subscribe to my channel for more insights on aging parent care. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll see you next time.